My name is Ryan Vachon and I'm a climate scientist. My job has me travel all around the world and experience different environments. Today we're going to go to a few locations to better understand the effects of climate change on polar regions. Polar regions may seem a world away, but the truth is their climate changes are affecting people all over the planet. The average temperature of the planet has gone up a little less than 1 degree centigrade in the last century, but these changes are regional. Some areas see a little bit of change, while some areas see a lot of change. Most of the climate scientists out there say that the climate change that we're experiencing is caused by the production of CO2. CO2, or carbon dioxide, is produced by the burning of fossil fuels and the creation of concrete. The production of CO2 is expected to double in the next 50 years. This is working in the wrong direction. This will warm the planet as opposed to possibly reduce its impacts. Climate models say that the average temperature of the planet is going to rise by between 2.5 and 6.5 degrees centigrade in the next century. This is huge. And it's particularly huge in that the climate changes are regional. Some areas are going to warm by a heck of a lot more than 2.5 to 6.5 degrees. We can make a difference. We're not necessarily stuck in a groove. Climate scientists say that we can adapt to a 2 to 3 degrees centigrade warming for the average temperature of the planet. But to attain this goal, we have to reduce our energy production by 60 to 80%, over half of what we're producing right now in the next 50 years. This means that we have to own the problem and we have to work together for a positive outcome. Later, we're going to discuss simple things that we can do that will really help. Right now, I'm taking part in one of my favorite activities, rock climbing. Not only does it keep me close to nature, but it also holds me responsible for my own well-being. I have to think about what's happening now and what might happen in the future. To be safe, I have to take precautions. This is a lot like the concerns that we just discussed. We can enjoy the environment, but we have to be responsible. So the world is chock full of ecosystems. You've got deserts, you've got rainforests, you've got marine systems, and you've got soaring alpine peaks. The diversity of wildlife that live in these ecosystems is just as wide. Today we're going to be talking about how climate change is affecting ecosystems in polar regions. And when I'm talking about polar regions, I'm mainly talking about regions that are at the highest of latitudes, and that includes the Arctic and the Antarctic. We're going to be visiting a few locations in polar regions, getting some perspective and some facts from both scientists who are working closely with monitoring polar systems and from the general public. People may wonder why we should study polar regions at all. Not so many people live there, but they're actually mystical places filled with exotic animals and beautiful vistas. But more importantly, the high latitudes are warning signs of climate changes to come at lower latitudes. If there's climate change at the high latitudes, the lower latitudes best get ready. there's probably going to be a climate change that happens there as well. Our goal is to, 1, give a brief history on polar exploration. Number 2, clear up any confusion about whether climate change is actually happening or not. And 3, delve into how global warming is actually melting permafrost, or permanently frozen ground, ice caps, and sea ice. The last thing that we want to do is to look into the future and see what kind of changes we might expect. So we're going to go from place to place and interview to interview, all tied together with discussions about solutions at the National Renewable Energy Laboratories outside of Denver, Colorado.